Every meaningful journey starts with a decision, the decision to take charge of your own life. The world is full of opinions, applause, and judgment, but the quiet truth is that your greatest victories will be the ones you win for yourself. Personal responsibility is the quiet foundation of every genuine success. It begins the moment you realize that no one else is coming to rescue you, fix your circumstances, or chart your path. Many people drift through life believing that their happiness, income, or opportunities depend on luck, connections, or the approval of others. But lasting achievement only takes root when you accept that your future is a direct reflection of your own choices. This understanding isn't meant to burden you, it's meant to free you. When you own your actions, you gain the power to change anything that isn't serving you. Taking responsibility means seeing your current situation, whatever it may be, as the result of countless decisions, both big and small. Perhaps some were made unconsciously or under pressure, yet they were decisions all the same. Instead of blaming circumstances, parents, bosses, or the economy, you look honestly at what you can control today. That shift is powerful. It turns complaints into questions. What can I learn? What can I do differently right now? Suddenly, the world is no longer something happening to you. It's something you are actively shaping. This mindset demands courage because it asks you to stop pointing fingers. It is easier to say, I can't get ahead because of the system, or my boss never gives me a break. But every time you give external forces the final say, you hand away your own authority. Owning your life means acknowledging that while you cannot control every event, you always control your response. You can choose to adapt, to improve, to seek new skills, to move in a direction. Even small, deliberate actions, saving a few dollars, reading for half an hour, refining a skill, can shift the trajectory of an entire life. Responsibility also means setting standards for yourself and keeping them, even when nobody is watching. It is showing up for your goals on days when motivation feels distant. It is following through on promises you make to yourself, because those promises build integrity. Over time, these quiet acts of consistency create a deep sense of self-respect. That self-respect is far more rewarding than any temporary approval from others. It becomes a reservoir of confidence that no setback can drain. When you practice personal responsibility, you also discover the power of choice in the face of adversity. Difficulties will come, illness, loss, unexpected challenges, but responsibility does not vanish when life gets hard. Instead, it gives you the resilience to ask, what is the next best step, rather than, why is this happening to me? It shifts you from victimhood to agency. This doesn't mean you ignore pain or injustice. It means you refuse to let them define your identity or dictate your next move. The beauty of embracing responsibility is that it compounds over time. Each disciplined action, each moment of honesty with yourself, builds momentum. You become more capable, more resourceful, more aware of your own influence. Opportunities start to appear, not because luck suddenly favors you, but because you've prepared yourself to see and seize them. People begin to trust you, not just for your skills, but for your reliability. You start to trust yourself too. Ultimately, personal responsibility is an act of empowerment. It tells you that the pen is in your hand and the next chapter is unwritten. You may not control the world, but you control your effort, your learning, your habits, and your vision. That is more than enough to change the direction of your life. When you accept that truth, you no longer wait for someone else to create your success. You begin, day by day, to create it yourself. Intrinsic motivation is the quiet engine that drives true achievement, the kind that lasts beyond applause or recognition. When you act because something inside you says, this matters, you tap into a source of energy that does not fade when people stop watching. External rewards, money, praise, promotions can spark short bursts of effort, but they rarely sustain you when obstacles appear. A person who relies solely on approval from others often finds that motivation evaporates the moment the cheering stops. By contrast, someone guided by inner conviction continues forward, even in silence, because the work itself provides meaning. Consider how many goals are abandoned when the excitement of a new challenge wears off. The gym fills in January but empties by February. Students begin courses with enthusiasm yet lose interest once the novelty fades. These patterns reveal a common truth. When our actions depend on external incentives alone, they crumble when conditions change. Intrinsic motivation solves this problem. It grows from personal values, curiosity, and a deep desire to master something for its own sake. It is the artist who paints at dawn without a gallery opening in sight, the entrepreneur who builds a product to solve a problem rather than to impress investors, the student who studies because understanding feels rewarding in itself. Cultivating intrinsic motivation begins with clarity. You must ask yourself why you truly care about a goal. Not why others think you should care, but why it resonates with you. Perhaps you love the challenge of learning, or you want to develop strength to feel capable and healthy, or you find joy in creating something beautiful. When your reason connects to your personal values, the effort becomes meaningful no matter how long it takes. The journey itself feels worthwhile, which is essential because progress often comes slowly and unpredictably. Another powerful aspect of intrinsic motivation is the feedback it provides. External rewards can be delayed or inconsistent. Someone else decides when you are good enough. Internal drive offers immediate satisfaction. Each time you practice, improve, or simply show up, you experience a sense of accomplishment. That feeling reinforces your commitment more effectively than any trophy or compliment. It turns effort into its own reward, creating a positive cycle. You work because you love the process, and loving the process makes you want to work even more. Building this mindset requires self-awareness and discipline. It is tempting to chase approval because it feels good in the short term. But if you learn to notice when you are seeking validation and gently redirect your focus to personal growth, you begin to strengthen the habit of working for yourself. Set goals that you control completely. Habits, skills, daily practices, so that your success depends only on your actions. Celebrate small victories privately. Keep a journal of progress that no one else needs to see. These practices train your mind to value effort over recognition. In the long run, intrinsic motivation creates not only achievement but also fulfillment. A person who acts from internal purpose experiences deeper satisfaction because their life aligns with their values. They are less shaken by criticism or failure because their sense of worth is not tied to other people's opinions. They can adapt to change, persevere through difficulty, and find joy in the work itself. When you live this way, every challenge becomes an opportunity to express who you are and to grow into who you want to be. That is why intrinsic motivation is the most powerful, reliable, and liberating force you can develop, one that keeps you moving forward long after the applause has faded. Clarity of purpose is the quiet engine that drives every lasting accomplishment. Without it, even the most energetic efforts scatter like sparks in the wind. To understand clarity of purpose, you must begin by asking a simple but profound question. What does success mean to me? The answer is rarely about money alone, or recognition, or the trappings of status. Those can be byproducts, but they are not the destination. True clarity comes when you define success on your own terms. When you decide what kind of person you wish to become, and what values you refuse to compromise. Many people live according to plans they never truly chose. Family expectations, cultural pressure, and the endless comparisons of social media can blur the difference between what we genuinely desire and what we have been told to want. It is easy to chase a career, a lifestyle, or even relationships simply because they seem impressive to others. But if your path is shaped only by external voices, every victory will feel strangely hollow. Clarity of purpose begins when you pause long enough to listen inwardly, to separate your authentic ambitions from the noise around you. This process requires deep self-examination. It is not a one-time decision, but a continual practice of questioning and refining. Start by reflecting on moments when you feel most alive, when time passes unnoticed because you are absorbed in something meaningful. Those moments point toward your natural inclinations and strengths. Ask yourself which activities give you a sense of contribution, of building something beyond mere comfort or entertainment. Consider also the values you hold sacred: integrity, creativity, service, knowledge, freedom. These values act as a compass, guiding you through the confusion of countless opportunities. Once you identify these inner guideposts, translate them into concrete intentions. Vague hopes rarely motivate consistent action. If growth is a core value, decide how you will pursue it. Perhaps committing to learn a new skill each year or dedicating time each week to study and reflection. If service matters most, outline specific ways to contribute to your community or profession. Clarity transforms a dream from a hazy wish into a clear directive, giving every choice a framework. You begin to evaluate opportunities not by how glamorous they appear, but by how well they align with your defined purpose. Another powerful effect of clarity is resilience. Life will test you with setbacks, delays, and unexpected detours. Without a strong sense of why you are on this path, frustration can drain your will. But when your purpose is well defined, obstacles become part of the journey rather than signs to quit. You understand that challenges refine your skills and strengthen your resolve. Instead of feeling lost when plans change, you adjust while keeping your deeper direction intact. Clarity of purpose also frees you from the endless comparisons that dominate modern life. When you know where you are heading and why, someone else's faster progress or different achievements lose their power to distract or discourage you. You measure success by your own standards, focusing on progress instead of competition. This independence of thought fosters genuine confidence, quiet, steady, and not dependent on applause. In the end, clarity of purpose is not merely a tool for reaching goals, it is the foundation of a fulfilling life. It illuminates each decision, fuels discipline, and turns daily effort into a meaningful narrative. When you know what truly matters to you, every action, no matter how small, becomes a deliberate step toward a life that is authentically yours. Self-discipline is the quiet force that transforms good intentions into lasting results. It is not simply about denying yourself pleasure or following a rigid schedule. It is the art of directing your energy toward what matters most, even when the easier path tempts you. Imagine each day as a series of small decisions. Every choice, whether to rise when the alarm sounds, to finish a project before checking your phone, to speak with patience instead of frustration, shapes the arc of your life. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement, and it is built from these ordinary moments repeated consistently. Many people wait for motivation to strike, believing they must feel inspired before taking action. The truth is the opposite. Action generates motivation. When you choose to act despite discomfort, you train your mind to follow through. Over time, this practice becomes a habit, and habit becomes character. Self-discipline is like a muscle. It strengthens with regular use. Each time you resist a fleeting distraction or push through fatigue, you add to your inner strength, just as each repetition in a gym builds physical power. Discipline is also a form of freedom. It may sound paradoxical, but structure creates space for creativity and growth. When you have trained yourself to complete tasks, to honor your commitments, and to stay focused, you gain control over your own time. Instead of being pulled by every whim or demand, you decide where your attention goes. This autonomy allows you to invest in the activities and relationships that truly matter, free from the chaos of procrastination or regret. It is helpful to think of self-discipline not as harsh self-punishment, but as an act of self-respect. You set boundaries because you value your goals. You wake up early to study because you value knowledge. You practice a skill every day because you respect your potential. Each disciplined act is a vote for the person you are becoming. Over weeks and months, those votes accumulate, shaping a life that reflects your deepest priorities rather than passing impulses. Challenges are inevitable, and discipline provides the resilience to face them. When obstacles arise, undisciplined effort falters. Disciplined effort adapts. Instead of giving up when results are slow, a disciplined person adjusts strategy, keeps learning, and continues forward. This steady persistence often outperforms natural talent or luck. History is full of examples where the consistent worker surpasses the naturally gifted who lack persistence. To cultivate discipline, start small. Choose one area, a daily walk, a reading routine, a commitment to limit distractions, and keep that promise to yourself. Success in one habit builds confidence and spills into other areas. Gradually, you learn to delay gratification, to stay the course when enthusiasm fades, and to act in alignment with long-term goals rather than short-term comfort. Ultimately, self-discipline is the engine of personal freedom and achievement. It allows you to design a life that reflects your values, not the whims of circumstance. It gives you the power to say yes to what you truly want and no to what weakens you. Through disciplined action, you become the author of your own story, proving each day that your future is not left to chance, but built by choice. A growth mindset is the quiet but unstoppable force that turns obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into stepping stones. At its heart lies a simple yet profound belief. Your abilities, talents, and intelligence are not fixed traits, but capacities that can expand through effort, learning, and perseverance. When you hold this belief, Challenges stop being threats to your self-image and become invitations to stretch beyond your current limits. Every difficult task transforms from an exam of worthiness into a workshop for development. Consider how most people view failure. Many see it as a verdict, a permanent label that says, "You're not capable." But through the lens of a growth mindset, failure is simply feedback. It is a source of information that highlights what to improve next. Instead of feeling defeated, you ask, "What can I learn here? What skill do I need to strengthen?" This shift turns frustration into fuel. The same event that might cause someone else to quit becomes the spark that drives you to refine your approach and try again with sharper tools. Effort, too, takes on a new meaning. In a fixed mindset, effort is evidence of inadequacy. If you have to work hard, maybe you're not naturally gifted. But in a growth mindset, effort is the pathway to mastery. You begin to value the process over instant results, knowing that each hour of practice lays the foundation for future success. Musicians, athletes, and innovators who excel at the highest level all understand this. Their achievements look like brilliance from the outside, but behind the scenes are countless hours of focused practice and patient learning. Adopting a growth mindset also transforms how you view criticism. Instead of avoiding feedback to protect your ego, you welcome it as a guide. Constructive criticism points you toward specific areas of improvement. It teaches you to separate your sense of self from the work at hand. You are not the mistake you made or the weak skill you have today. You are the evolving learner who can improve those weaknesses and turn them into strengths. Curiosity naturally grows in this environment. When you believe you can learn anything with time and effort, the world becomes a place of endless possibility. You start asking more questions, exploring unfamiliar subjects, and embracing new experiences. Each discovery reinforces the idea that you can always become more capable tomorrow than you are today. The thrill of learning replaces the fear of looking uninformed. This mindset even influences how you view the success of others. Instead of feeling threatened or envious, you feel inspired. Someone else's achievements become proof that growth is possible, a reminder of what consistent effort can yield. Their progress becomes a model, not a measuring stick. You focus on your own path while celebrating theirs, confident that there is room for everyone to improve. Ultimately, a growth mindset is not just about achieving external goals. It's about cultivating resilience, patience, and confidence. Life will inevitably present setbacks, but with this perspective, each setback is temporary and instructive. You understand that the skills you need to overcome today's challenges are skills you can develop. This belief gives you courage to begin, perseverance to continue, and wisdom to adapt. It transforms learning from a task into a lifelong adventure, ensuring that every experience, good or bad, becomes a step toward becoming the best version of yourself. Inner fulfillment is the quiet strength that sustains every worthwhile life. It is not the fleeting excitement of applause or the temporary rush of recognition. It is the steady, deep satisfaction that comes when your actions, choices, and values align. You feel it not in the noise of a crowd, but in the calm of your own thoughts, when you know you are living in harmony with what truly matters to you. Many people chase external success, titles, possessions, likes on a screen, believing those things will fill an empty space inside them. Yet once they arrive at those milestones, the emptiness often lingers. That is because outer rewards can only decorate life. They cannot nourish the soul. The pursuit of inner fulfillment begins with honesty. You must ask yourself what genuinely brings meaning to your days, and you must be willing to listen, even if the answers differ from what society advertises. Perhaps it is mastering a craft, serving others quietly, or simply becoming a kinder, more patient person. These aims may not draw headlines, but they carry a profound personal weight. When you recognize that value is not defined by comparison, you free yourself from the exhausting need to impress. You start making choices based on what feels right, rather than what appears impressive. This shift requires courage. It is easier to follow a path that wins approval than to carve your own. Friends, family, or colleagues may question why you invest time in something that does not look profitable or glamorous. But fulfillment grows only when you honor your inner compass. Every decision you make for authentic reasons strengthens that compass, giving you confidence that you can trust yourself even when others doubt. Over time, this trust becomes a source of quiet joy, because you are no longer living a life designed by someone else. Inner fulfillment also deepens through consistent effort. It is not a single event, but a process of aligning daily habits with core principles. When you dedicate yourself to meaningful work, even the repetitive tasks acquire significance. The discipline of showing up, improving a little each day, and staying true to your word shapes a character that feels whole. Each small victory, keeping a promise to yourself, completing a task without shortcuts, builds a sense of integrity that no external reward can equal. The journey itself becomes rewarding because it reflects who you intend to be. Another powerful element of fulfillment is gratitude. When you learn to appreciate the present moment and the progress you have already made, you find contentment that does not depend on constant striving. Gratitude turns ordinary experiences into quiet celebrations. It reminds you that your worth is not measured by future achievements, but by the quality of awareness you bring to life right now. This mindset transforms challenges into opportunities to grow, and makes successes feel richer because you recognize the effort behind them. Ultimately, inner fulfillment is a lifelong conversation with yourself. It asks for reflection, discipline, and the courage to live by your own standards. It cannot be bought, borrowed, or demanded from the world. It grows as you align thoughts, words, and actions with your deepest values. And when you cultivate it, you carry a sense of peace that no setback can destroy, a steady light that guides you through both triumph and trial. Independence of thought is one of the most powerful qualities a person can develop because it frees you from the invisible chains of conformity. From early childhood, we are surrounded by messages about what success should look like, how we should behave, and which paths are considered respectable or safe. Friends, family, media, and social trends all play a role in shaping these expectations. While guidance and shared wisdom have their place, blindly following them can keep you from ever discovering your true potential. Independence of thought means cultivating the courage to question, to analyze, and to decide based on your own reasoned understanding of the world. It is the conscious decision to be the author of your own life rather than a character in someone else's script. The first step toward independent thinking is awareness. Many people move through life on autopilot, adopting beliefs and habits without examining where they came from or whether they actually serve their well-being. When you pause to notice the assumptions you carry about career, relationships, or even what happiness should feel like, you begin to see how many of them were never truly yours. This realization is not about rejecting every outside idea, it is about testing those ideas against your own experience and values. Independent thinkers don't rebel for the sake of rebellion, they seek understanding. They weigh evidence, consider multiple perspectives, and then choose with intention. Practicing this level of self-directed thinking requires courage. Society often rewards compliance because it feels predictable and safe. When you challenge accepted norms, you may face criticism or even isolation. Friends might question your choices. Colleagues might doubt your direction. Yet history shows that every major breakthrough, scientific, artistic, or social, began with someone daring to think differently. Independence of thought is not only a personal strength, it is the engine of progress. By trusting your own reasoned judgment, you contribute something original to the world, something that could not exist if you merely copied what came before. Developing this independence also demands humility. True independent thinkers are not arrogant. They are curious. They recognize that learning never stops and that new information can change even deeply held beliefs. Instead of clinging to an idea simply because it is theirs, they remain open to refinement. This balance of confidence and flexibility allows them to keep growing while staying true to themselves. It is the difference between stubbornness and genuine self-reliance. In practical terms, independence of thought shows up in everyday decisions. It is the choice to pursue a career that excites you, even if it isn't trendy. It is the decision to form your own opinions about books, politics, or lifestyle instead of echoing the loudest voice around you. It is the habit of asking why, not to be difficult, but to understand. Over time, these small acts of questioning build an inner strength that no external approval can match. Ultimately, living with independent thought is a commitment to authenticity. It means your achievements reflect your own vision, and your setbacks become valuable lessons rather than regrets. You will still listen to advice, learn from mentors, and respect the experiences of others, but you will not hand them the steering wheel of your life. You will think, decide, and act because you have examined the path and chosen it deliberately. That is real freedom, the quiet confidence that your life is truly your own, guided by principles you have tested and values you have chosen. A true legacy is not measured in the possessions we collect or the titles we earn. It lives in the character we build day by day. When people think of legacy, they often imagine wealth or a famous name etched into history, but those things fade quickly in the memories of others. What lasts is the quiet influence of a strong and principled character. Every decision you make, every action you take, shapes the person you are becoming. Your habits form the invisible architecture of your life, and over time, they become the story others remember about you. Character is built in the small, unremarkable moments. It grows when you keep a promise no one else knows you made. It strengthens when you choose honesty over convenience, even when the truth might cost you. These choices rarely make headlines, but they define the kind of person you are and the kind of life you will lead. Each time you act with integrity, you are laying another brick in a foundation that can withstand time and challenge. Think about the people who have influenced you most. Chances are it was not their bank accounts or awards that left a mark on you. It was their consistency, their values, their quiet courage when life tested them. They demonstrated patience when others were restless. They offered kindness without seeking recognition. They held to principles even when compromise would have been easier. These qualities inspire long after their voices are gone, proving that true legacy is woven into the character we exhibit. Building such a legacy demands attention to your daily habits and thoughts. Character is not something you suddenly acquire. It is something you cultivate. If you practice gratitude, you become a grateful person. If you practice perseverance, you become resilient. The opposite is also true. Neglect your inner life, and you drift into patterns that weaken your integrity. Every day presents a choice: feed the habits that strengthen you or the ones that diminish you. It is tempting to believe that external achievements define us, especially in a world that celebrates quick success. But the applause of others is fleeting. A career may end, a reputation can be misunderstood, and possessions can vanish overnight. What cannot be taken from you is the person you have become through steady practice of virtue and purpose. That inner strength will guide you through uncertainty and give meaning to everything you accomplish. This kind of legacy also has a ripple effect. The strength of your character influences those around you, family, friends, colleagues, whether you intend it or not. Your actions give them a quiet model of how to live with dignity and purpose. You might never know how deeply you've affected someone's life simply by remaining true to your principles. In this way, the habits you form today extend far beyond your own lifetime, shaping a future you may never see. So, focus on becoming the best version of yourself, not for applause or recognition, but because character is the one treasure that endures. Each day is a chance to refine your thoughts, strengthen your discipline, and live according to values you deeply respect. Over the years, these daily efforts create a legacy of character that stands firm long after the noise of the world has faded.